Good morning and welcome to the Colonel and Mr. Big podcast. We've been away for a while. Today, the Colonel and I are together in our luxurious Toma, Wisconsin studio, coming to you live. And we apologize. We've been away a few weeks. The last one we did a podcast we had some technical difficulties, and then we've both been extremely busy. And hopefully everything will work.
Well, it's been interesting. Like you said, we recorded a couple of weeks ago, and when I went to edit it, the sound every week with Riverside. If you're going to start a podcast, do not buy Riverside, and that's what we use. And the voice tracks were all off, and we had to nix that one. And then our schedules. I'm sure you're going to talk about the wedding. We were both on vacation for a while. I had a root canal, and I've had issues with my sciatic nerve, and it's just one thing after another. But we're here today.
We are here today, and hopefully we can get back on schedule and bring all the information that you need to hear and solve all the problems of the world. So we'll start off today with our initial sponsor and Healthy Prelude.
Healthy Prelude, located at Scandinavia Lane, just outside of Elroy. Anna Smart is the owner, and there's no better place.
No,
No better place for massage treatments in the area. Jill and I see Anna once a month, and if she sells a variety of products in addition to doing her massage therapy, and Jill brought out a few of them today. You know, her goat's milk and flowers infused oil, and this one here is sunscreen, which we took to Arizona, and she's got other stuff down here. The magnesium roll-on, which is excellent. And you can look at Anna's product on www.thisshitsthebalm.com, and that's THISSHITZ, the balm. And Anna makes her products for pain and anti-inflammatory relief, vapor rub, magnesium cream, and so much more. And then you can also look up her products on healthyprelude.com. We're going to stop up there today and see her new building.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. See, she had a fire, as you all know. We talked about many times a year or so ago, and they're rebuilding. So I'm anxious to go see the new building and hopefully run into Anna. I haven't seen her in a long time, and that'd be nice to do that. So,
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to country. We lived up here for 13 years, and we're gonna visit some of those spots that we used to see all the time. So that'd be
Anna's she's looking fantastic. She's lost a lot of weight through a program that she's doing, and hopefully you can see her because she
great. Yeah,
looks
that'll be
completely different.
fun.
She's
Looking forward to that.
Yep.
Forward to that.
So the first thing we want to talk about is local sports, Tommy.
Yeah, Bike Trail Sports. We're gonna talk about a lot of local sports. While we're here, we're up in Royal High School territory. In fact, we'll be going there this afternoon. You might want to talk about that a little bit, Mike. But you want to talk a little bit about Royal?
Yes, Royal Golf. I got a message from Tim Bruner and Kelly McLean Bender a couple of weeks ago, probably a month ago now. Royal, many years ago, had a golf program, and we're a very small school district. I know when I went to school, obviously we had a lot more kids going to Royal at the time, and we had a golf program. And then it went away for a number of years. Well, this year it was reinvigorated. And the boys, they actually teamed up with another school, local school, Hillsboro. And they've got 21 matches this year. And the boys are Luke, I hope I pronounce these names correctly. Luke Holthe, he's a freshman from Hillsboro. Caden Lang, a freshman from Royal. Jet Bender, a freshman from Royal. Alex Bruner is a junior from Royal. Colton Morissette, a junior from Royal. And Coach Ben Pooley is from Hillsboro. And we found out there's enough kids for a JV team, too. And I know they've played a lot more matches since I've received this information, but basically a shout out to the kids that decided to put this all together. I know in their first meet, it was a Cooley Conference meet, and the team finished second at behind Black River Falls, and they outplayed much larger schools like Luther, Arcadia, West Salem, West Beaver, Oakwood, and Gale Ettrick Trempealeau. So small towns of Elroy and Hillsboro, Royal and Hillsboro put together a golf program. And
While we're on Royal, mention today what's going on this afternoon over at Royal.
Yeah, this afternoon is a field dedication. They're naming the baseball field after Joe Bitsinda. Joe's been the head coach there 50 plus years.
I think so,
close to 60 years.
Yeah.
He's in his 80s. He's doing extremely well, gets around great. Still coaching. I think Royal, who was not projected to do real well this year, actually, I think finished second. I want to confirm that. I think they finished second, so better than average season. But anyway, this afternoon at 4:45 down at the baseball field. They're going to dedicate the field in Joe Vicinda's name. And like I said, he's been a head coach long before I was in high school, back in the early
He's a
80s.
legend around this area. I think I don't know if they won the state, but I know that he's went to the state. I
They won
think
it.
baseball
Yep.
they won the state, I think,
98.
one year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that'll be exciting, and he's a great guy. He's been around for a long time, and
Yeah.
he was, of course, was. I want to talk a little bit about Hamilton Heights Husky softball. Hamilton Heights is a high school located in Arcadia, Indiana, as you well know, and I'm the concession manager there. But we got a girls softball team that's loaded with juniors that are very talented, and they've had an up-down year. Of course, softball is all dependent on pitching, and if your pitching's not doing well, then you're struggling a little bit. But they've ran across a couple tough weeks here the last couple of weeks. But they go into the sectional next week at Connorsville High School, and they play Delta. So should be a good time for that, and it'd be nice to see them come away with a sectional victory. It'd be a little tough. I think Yorktown's in their sectional, which is also a very. And the Husky baseball team is winding down. We got it. This week is our last week of events. The Saturday's the last baseball game, and then we'll be done with sports for the spring season. So it's winding down a little bit. It's been fun. Of course, weather in Indiana kills you. We've had a lot of postponements and cancellations, and it'd be nice to, from a concession standpoint, for me anyway, it'd be nice to wind the season down a little bit.
We watching the weather this morning out of Indianapolis. You guys have monsoons going through there like every
Yeah,
day.
yeah. Today, in fact, I just got an email from the athletic director. I mean, it's beautiful there right now, and he said he doesn't want to make a call till after school today as far as the games tonight, but it looks like he got a major storm coming in. So, um, then I want to talk a little bit about the IHSAA. It's the Indiana High School Athletic Association. They just passed a rule that high school kids will be allowed to be monetized, not through their school, but through their traveling teams. A traveling volleyball team, a traveling basketball, traveling baseball. I think it's going to kill high school sports. I really do. If I'm an excellent basketball player and I can play on a traveling team all year long and be
Big money.
paid,
Yeah.
compensated for it, why would I play at school and, get injured and things? I just think it's going to hurt high school athletics and all throughout the country. I think it's going to happen. And, but it's crazy that that's happening, that they're paying monetized. I mean, I don't think it'll be the money you're talking about in college, but if you got a high school senior, junior, or senior that can make $1,000 a month
Yeah.
or $500 a month, I mean, what the heck? I mean, it's gas money. I mean, it's
And I agree. If I can make money playing ball or what school on the back burner,
yeah, without question. It's just crazy. I think it's terrible. The other thing they voted on was shot clock, and that did not pass. But they're trying to pass a 35-second shot clock for high school, and I think that will eventually pass.
Do you guys have an issue with like stalling?
Oh yeah,
You do?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Every once in a while. I mean, not the bigger schools don't do it, but if a smaller school's playing a big school, sometimes that does happen. Just to
Mhm.
they're trying to.
Yep. And Major League Baseball?
Well, I want to talk about that. The Yankees and the Brewers played here this past week, and actually the Brewers swept the Yankees, and the Yankees aren't doing too well. The Brewers are doing really well. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, but it's in full swing. And me being a diehard Yankee fan, I don't understand how it happens, but every year they have injuries, and I don't know if they don't on the off season they just sit around and drink and smoke and don't do anything or what they do. But I mean, they are injured every year. I know Max Fried's out now with his arm problem, and then Giancarlo Stanton always seems to get hurt in the spring. He's down again for I think 30 days, maybe 10 to 30. I think it's 30 days, and just always injuries. So it's the Yankees are struggling a little bit right now.
Looking at the standings, they're 3 games behind Tampa Bay. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
The Brewers are a game and a half behind the Cubs, which they play next tonight, I believe, and 8-2 in their last 10. They lost yesterday. Could have pulled that out, but hey, they took 2 out of 3 from the Twins. But yeah, the Yankees, they definitely could have won probably all 3 games against Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, it was a good series.
Yeah.
It was very well played, but it was Major League Baseball is in full swing. And then we're getting into football. The NFL schedule was released, and the only reason I put that on here I want to talk about, it's amazing. There's 9 games overseas or abroad this year, which is the first time ever. And I mean, they're playing like Rio de Janeiro, Mexico City, Barcelona. They're going to Australia this year. It's just making NFL is going to become a worldwide thing, I think, eventually. And it's just I don't know about that Australia trip, man. That could screw you up. And it's the first game of the season. I know that. and they're playing it, I think, on a Thursday night, so they would be off to the following week. So I guess they do get some rest, but
That's a heck of, I mean, couple hour time change
yeah,
really
yeah.
plays with your system. I can't imagine what it's going to do to these
I
guys.
mean, the Jaguars go over to London every year and
That,
play, but they play 2 games in a
yep,
row, so they stay
yep.
for, I think, for 2 weeks, and so that works out pretty well, and then the team I know the Colts, I think, play in Paris. They play somewhere overseas.
There's been talk about having, a whole like division over
Yeah, over in
European
Europe,
countries and
and then have their Super Bowl
yep.
and then play the winner over here. We talked about IHSA and paying the athletes. I want to talk a little bit about the NIL at college level, and I had read something a week or so ago that this past year, the Big Ten spent $1.37 billion on NIL. Well, they didn't spend it, I mean, but that's how
Yep.
much money was donated to Big Ten
That's just the
schools,
Big Ten.
just the Big Ten. But that was the highest. It was better than the SEC and everything. And I read where one quarterback is 6.5 million. It might be the guy at Manning at Arch at Texas. $6.5 million this year to play well. It's so that we were talking, you get an 18-year-old, 18 to 22-year-old that gets $6 million. They never go to class. All they do is play football. So then they go to the NFL and they wash out of the NFL after 3 or 4 years. They don't have a degree. The 6.5 million that they got's probably already spent.
Yeah.
So then they're destitute. I mean, it's just not.
I really wish that they would listen to Nick Saban and some of the stuff he
Yeah.
has. He's got some great ideas. And on the basketball side, who's the old
Yeah.
Kentucky coach now at Arkansas?
Yeah, Calipari.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Calipari.
great.
He's
Yeah.
got some great
Yeah, he
ideas
does.
too
Yeah.
to make it happen. Well, we'll see what happens.
I listen every day to a show on Sirius Radio. It's called Free Ride, Full Ride, not Free Ride, Full Ride. And it's Chris Childers, who I don't know, but he's been around a long time, and Rick Neuheisel, who was the coach at UCLA, played quarterback at UCLA. But the reason I bring this up is that Rick Neuheisel the other day was talking about his parents on the radio, and his dad is from Cashton, and his mom is from Viroqua,
Really?
and they both went to UW-Madison. And when he said Cash and Viroqua, I went, what? And he was in the NFL for a brief period, but then he coached at UCLA and Washington and Colorado before. And now he's coached the Dallas team in the UFL. But I just thought it was really interesting. They were from Wisconsin and actually right here by where we're at, Cashton and Viroqua. So it's just up the road. It's very interesting. I want to talk about our next sponsor. It's Antiques and Botanicals, and they're at 11268 Highway 53 East in Marble Hill. And it's a shopping experience to go here, and that will keep you coming back. They get new inventory arriving every week. I just saw today they've got antique clothing they're selling now to go with the antiques. And the Botanicals is Barb Grimes, who was a floral department manager in a grocery store that I worked at. And that's where I met her husband, Jay, when we both worked for Standard Grocery in Indianapolis, but both great people. And not only do they have this antique and botanical store, I guess down the road, they've got a little grocery store that sells fresh meat and produce and those type things. So go to Antiques and Botanicals, put it in your search engine. It'll bring up everything that they have there. And it's just amazing to look at the pictures and go through there. And I'm sure you can get a hold of them and order things online and that way. But they sell antique jewelry, furniture, and at Botanicals. And this time of year, Barb's got all kinds of flowers and all kinds of stuff available. So give them a call. The phone number is 770-893-1494, and that's Antiques and Botanicals. If you look that up in your search engine. Word of the day is Akuna Mafucket. What the hell is Akuna Mafucket? That's when you give zero fucks and no worries, and you just let the shit show resume. I saw that. I thought, man, that is pretty appropriate to some things that are going on around now. Lion King, Akuna Mafucket. That's the word of the day. So
That's a good one. I'm going to have to remember that one.
we're going to talk about these pigs that went to market, another segment of ours. We got a couple of them today. Like Mike said, he had been on vacation. Actually, I was on vacation too. And Mike, why don't you talk about yours and Jill's trip first?
Yeah. A few months ago, we were looking at a house down in Arizona, and we thought after we went to Germany and saw our son, and we'd come back, and if the house was still on the market, we'd take a trip back down to Arizona. Well, plans changed, but we still decided to drive down to Arizona, which was a hell of a drive. It takes a long time, but we spent our first night in Wichita, Kansas, and then we went to Albuquerque. Very interesting town. At first, when we pulled in, we didn't like it. It looked very shady. But the next day we got up, we did kind of our own Breaking Bad tour and saw some of the sites where they filmed Breaking Bad, and ended up in Old Town. And it's a great, great city. We really enjoyed it there. And then we drove over to Flagstaff and stayed there 2 or 3 nights and went up to the Grand Canyon. Went to Walnut Canyon, which is not very well known. It's a place where people from like 1100 AD built these dwellings underneath the overhangs of the
Huh.
rocks. And it's just a cool place to visit. We spent some time there, spent a day in Sedona, and then went down to Tucson and stayed at a resort called Mira Vista, which maybe in one of the future podcasts I'll talk about. And it was a unique experience. And I want to get permission from Jill before before I talk about
Oh,
it.
one of those resorts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a great place. And we just had a great time. Met up with my former boss and his wife for a couple of days.
Not at the resort.
Not at the
Oh,
resort.
okay.
They live in Casa Grande. And then we started to drive back, and we were ready to be home after one day. We spent 16 hours in the truck, and that was just a little bit too much.
That is a long drive
It's a
from
long
here
drive.
to, yeah, because you have to go down through Kansas and
Yeah.
Texas and cross 10, I suppose, over to. It'd be nice to do that probably once.
It was
Just see
nice.
a lot
Yep.
of country and stuff, but
Exactly. See it once and not again.
yeah, you don't want to do it again.
No,
But,
no. And you took a trip.
Penny and I, with our friend of mine, actually my grade school friend Jeff Sherrill and his wife Pam, went down to the Bourbon Trail again. And we stayed in an Airbnb just outside of Paris, Kentucky, actually in horse country. There's these beautiful horse farms all around us, and those white fences, and the grass was immaculate. You see these beautiful stallions or fillies or whatever in the hell they are out there, horses out there roaming around. We actually had his guy took a garage, a pole barn, and made it into a beautiful Airbnb. And we had cows all around us, and it was just a beautiful setting. But anyway, we went to Woodford Reserve Distillery. We're there, and the thing what's fascinating about these distilleries is that these buildings were built back in the early 1800s, and of course they've done some renovation to them and stuff, but they keep walls or bricks or certain things in there, and you see them, and it's just absolutely amazing to see it, and then how they do it. And one thing about Woodford Reserve, they grow their own yeast. So when they make the bourbon, of course they use yeast. They put it in these mash barrels, and you see the stuff bubbling. It's very exciting. I mean, there's 4 mash barrels, and it starts here, and then it goes over here, and it just accumulates throughout the time. But it was amazing, and we went down to the Lexington Brewing Company downtown Lexington, and to a distillery, and had a great time down there. And then we spent the day at Keeneland Racetrack, which is a horse racetrack in Lexington, outside of Lexington. And it was the Maker's Mark Mile day, and there was 9,000 college students there. They had given away three $50,000 scholarships that day, so
Jeez.
all college kids got in free. But it was fantastic. I bet on every race. I didn't win any money, but I didn't bet a lot on every race. But it's kind of fun just to and we would pick the horses by the colors of the horse or the names of the horse, or Penny would pick one, I'd pick one. But we had a great time there. And then the next day we went back to Buffalo Trace. This was our third time to Buffalo Trace, but we'd never taken a tour. And Buffalo Trace is the distillery that they put out their regular bourbons on a regular basis, but on a daily basis, they put two of their very rare bourbons out. So people line up to get in to the gift shop to buy this stuff. We got there early this time, and we didn't have to wait more than 30 minutes. But the first time we went, we waited 2 hours and 10 minutes to get in. And the second time was like an hour and a half. So you have to wait to get in. And this time they had Blanton's and another thing. But anyway, we bought some Blanton's and then took the tour. And one interesting thing about this is one of their main things they make is Pappy Van Winkle, which is the supposedly elite bourbon of the bourbon industry. They have this rack house, which is where they put the barrels, and it's 23 racks high. So what they do, they make a batch of bourbon, and then they put the barrel on the 23rd rack, and then every year they lower it until it gets down to 20 after 23 years. And what was very, very interesting, when you put that barrel on the top rack, it's completely full. By the time it gets down to the 23rd rack, it's only about a quarter full because the barrel itself has absorbed all that. So that's why Pappy Van Winkle is so expensive, because you only get like 8 to 10 bottles or whatever you get out of that.
And you tried it recently.
Well, when we were in with Pam and Jeff down at Orange Beach on vacation this year, we were in a bar that had Pappy Van Winkle's 12 year. It didn't have the 23. And so I just wanted to try it. So the guy poured me a shot and a half, and it was good, but it wasn't as good. I mean, it wasn't any better than Woodford Double Oak or Blanton's or anything like that. So got the bill, and it was $175 for the shot.
2-ounce shot,
A
right?
2-ounce shot, which I'm glad I did it because
Yeah.
downtown my system, I don't have to mess with
Yep.
it. So uh, it was fun to do. But yeah, we plan on going back. We love to go on the Bourbon Trail. Next time we're going to go to Louisville. There's a 2 block area downtown Louisville, Kentucky. It's called Whiskey Row. I think there's 3 distilleries there, Evan Williams and a couple others. So we're looking forward to doing that. It's fun. We've collected some bourbon, and again, Penny and I do a shot of bourbon every night when we can, and it's just been something that, and when we started going on the first time we went, she could not stand whiskey, and now she drinks it pretty regularly.
Yeah.
So it's been good for us. But
Good deal. Yep. All right. Trailview Meats.
Trailview Meats. I just tried a ribeye from Cody Vossen. Mike brought it down when he came down to the wedding that we're going to talk about. Actually, when I fix steaks, well, I could have done it on the grill this time, but I've just been using my air fryer, and it makes a great steak. And Penny made it because I had taken our granddaughter to basketball, and she seasoned up a little bit. It was excellent, and both granddaughters loved it, ate it, and very good meat.
Yeah. And last night we made a couple of pounds of hamburger
Yeah,
and had tacos.
It was great.
Trailview Meats, owned by Cody Boston, a couple of miles outside of Elroy and Highway 71. Cody sells ground beef in 1 and 2 pound packages. He has steaks, ribeyes, porterhouses, T-bones, sirloins, yard strips, roasts, chuck roasts, which I know my mother loves, and prime rib roasts, along with briskets, short ribs, and much, much more. He's got a full menu. And if you don't trust the grocery stores or want something that is definitely a little bit better meat, definitely get a hold of Tom or me. We can put you in touch with Cody and Trailview Meats and get all of your meat needs from Cody. And that's all we buy. It's from him. So good
It's
stuff.
good stuff. It was
Good
very
stuff.
good stuff. And we got quite a bit of stuff. So we're looking. One segment we haven't done for a while, and that's the Colonel's conspiracies. And Mike has come up with one that I guess he heard about or read about, and we want to talk a little bit about today. And then we'll go from there into to our politic segment. So if you want to talk about a conspiracy that you read about.
So again, we don't necessarily believe these. We just want to throw it out there for discussion. But
Right.
This conspiracy theory that I read about involves the airlines and their brace position. So if you're flying, God forbid the plane is going down and they want you to be in the brace position. Well, this conspiracy theory explained that they believe that the airlines do this is to ensure that people die. They said it's cheaper for people to pass away than to have somebody survive and file a lawsuit against the airline company. I don't know if this is true or not, because they could still, family members could still file it if they lost a loved one in an airplane crash. But this conspiracy theory talked about the brace position, that allegedly airlines want anyone on the plane, everyone on the plane away if there's a crash. They don't want anyone to survive because of the pending lawsuits, which I don't know if I believe it or not. But the document did say the best thing to do is to stay sitting upright. I can hear the flight attendant
Going nuts.
going nuts to brace.
Well, they should be bracing too, so they shouldn't be seeing you. But
I thought that one was interesting. Again, I don't know if it's true, but it was something.
we were talking about that last night. There hasn't been, and we certainly don't want that. But when we were younger, there seemed to be a plane crash every year or something. Now it looks like they finally got their shit together. And we were talking about turbulence a little bit last night. I mean, I flew for years.
Hate it.
And turbulence just bothers me. I can't, because I hate roller coasters. But if you're sitting in this big long tube and all of a sudden you just start bouncing around through the air and you're going, what the hell? I mean, you're 35,000 feet up in the air and it's, what's going on. But I was telling Mike last night that years ago, I took an Air Wisconsin flight from O'Hare up to Appleton, Wisconsin, and 18-seater, 9 on each side. And it was like in the evening, storm came up and we left Chicago, and this plane it was all over the place. I thought we were going to die. And I was holding onto the seats, and there was a pilot sitting next to me, and he said, "You seem a little nervous." I said, "Yeah, it's turbulence. He said, "Look, no plane has ever gone down because of turbulence." And I thought, well, that's a relief, but still, I don't like the feeling, it is. And a few sentences later, he said, "But the only thing that could happen is it could bust a rivet loose." I went, "Wait a minute." So you're hoping the guy that welded the plane together, the rivets have got in properly. So,
My worst experience, we left Honolulu. We were probably an hour out. You know, you're over the wall. You get some turbulence. Jill and I are in the back, very last row of the plane, which is the worst place to be when there's turbulence. And for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, we were just bouncing all over. You could hear the engines screaming. The guy with the pilots were trying to climb and go down and just get out of the turbulence. And I turned around to the flight attendant. They were sitting back in their galley. And I asked her, quote unquote, "Are we okay?" And she said, "This is really bad." But we survived. And when we landed in Chicago, one of them said, "It's good to be on the ground." That was the worst. And to this day, if we hit turbulence, I have to mentally calm myself and remember that no plane.
Well, let's talk a little politics. We haven't talked politics in quite a while, but I know that the president just went to China, and I thought it was very interesting that maybe Mike, you always have an excellent insight to this stuff. And from what I saw, I mean, what it really bothers me is that the president comes in this grand hall and all these Chinese dignitaries, and then he's got these women that's serving them. It's like, and they're slaves.
Mm-hmm.
They're slaves in China. They're serving the president and stuff, and then everything has to be interpreted and said. So when whatever his name is, Chi is speaking, does he really, is what he's saying is what he's saying, or what is he? Is the emperor saying, "You motherfucking president," and all this stuff? But I mean, it sounds like there were some good things that came out of it, but I don't know. I mean, it's
the main things that came out were, I know the president took a lot of CEOs with him over there. And I think Boeing had a huge order from China, but global trade, technology competition, military balance in Asia, the whole Taiwan, China wanting to take over Taiwan, international supply chains. And so from what I've heard, it was a very good, time over there, a couple of days spent. Found it interesting though, and I confirmed this, that when they left, all the birds that the U.S. people were using, any gifts they were given, was all thrown into a bin before they boarded the plane. They took nothing back that the Chinese had given them because they were worried about spying, stuffing it in there. So everything was tossed before they left. I guess it was a good mission, and we'll see if it continues, it comes out of it. I just hope that, while we're going to talk about Iran, I just hope that the cost of living starts coming down, the groceries and some other things. So,
well, they're talking about we were going to sell them a chip, or who went with them? The guy from Navita or whatever it is, the chip maker. It was supposed to be a big deal that they were going to get billions of dollars out of China. On the way up here, of course, I listened to Watercolors, Channel 66 on your Sirius radio dial, and Dave Koz, who's a saxophone player, flute player, he was saying he's going on an Asia tour and he's going to spend 4 days in China. And I thought, I didn't know our entertainers went over to China, but two performances in Beijing and 2 in Shanghai. So maybe there's more stuff going on than we know. Speaking of China again, we got another damn virus that's coming about. It's my cousin posted today. I should have pulled it. I don't have it. 2002. A virus came out. In 2008, a virus came out. In 2014, a virus came out. In 2020, COVID came out, and now we got another in 2026. So every 6 years, it seems like, which is
I found interesting. I've seen a couple of videos now where they're decontaminating a plane. All these people are in their suits, for the virus, and then here comes, just saw it today. A guy comes walking through.
No, he's
wearing nothing. And then they showed another video where they're loading people in gurneys out of these buses. Everyone's in their suits. The people in the gurneys are sick. And then they show the bus driver through the window, and he's just like I am right here. It's like, is this stuff being staged, or what's
it has to be? I don't know why you know what? I think it's to get our mind off of these gas prices and everything else. It's just
probably
it's crazy. I mean, I know that I don't think I'll talk a little bit about Iran, what's going on there. This is still in our gas prices. I came through Chicago, it was $5.35 a gallon, which is ridiculous. It's not, and you're hoping it comes down, and I don't understand. We don't get any from Iran, so it doesn't.
I asked somebody about that, because you're right. We're shipping oil out to other countries. We're self-sufficient, but I guess the only answer that I got that seems somewhat that it's the whole global market of oil and the price of it, and we're paying through the through the rear end for it. But I mean, I just filled my truck yesterday, $80
Yeah,
to
it's
fill it.
crazy.
It's crazy. So
And then we killed another general or something over there, I think, one of the
yeah,
higher ups again that,
there was somebody involved with ISIS, I believe, that was killed in Africa. But
yeah.
all
While we're
things.
on politics, so I read something this morning, like Jill and I was talking about while you were gone, but, you never anything about Zelensky anymore. What the
Nope.
hell's going on there? I mean, it's,
I find it interesting, and again, I read some of these things on social media, and the whole thing with Zelensky and how it was being pushed during the Biden administration, all this money that we sent over there, well, a lot of people believe it was just funneling, a laundering and coming back to support the Democratic Party. And so now that it's out of the news, you're not hearing any of that stuff anymore. And I don't know if we talked about it before, the whole take on the whole Russia Ukraine
yeah.
war. And I'll bring it up real quick. I listened to somebody video or listened to somebody, they were talking about how if Russia wanted to take over the Ukraine or any part of Europe, they could march in there,
Oh, without
take it.
question, yeah.
And they've only come into the Ukraine like 50 kilometers or so. And the reason they've done that, and I guess this has been verified, is that the war actually was something drummed up during the Obama administration, and Biden was tasked with starting this war with the hopes that the people would overthrow Putin in Russia. What has happened is the war kind of kicked off with the Ukraine killing 14,000 of its own people that live in the eastern side of the Ukraine, right butted up against Russia. A lot of these people still speak Russia, have the Russia culture still going on. They haven't assimilated into kind of the Ukrainian way of living. And so the Ukraine had 14,000 of these people killed. And Putin, to defend these people, has come in about 50 kilometers just to keep the peace and try to keep things calm for the people that are still loyal to Russia. And it kind of makes sense when you think of, if Russia wanted to take over the Ukraine, they could do it tomorrow,
Oh,
and
yeah.
nothing's
Yeah.
happened. So you kind of wonder, are we being given, a lie about how this war started and kicked off and what's actually happening over there? Again, just throwing it out there for discussion. Don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to all that money that went I
Yeah.
mean, billions of
Billions
dollars
of dollars gone.
that we sent over the equipment and stuff. I mean, what,
Could have went to a littering center, I
oh,
guess.
yeah, I don't know where it went, but it's crazy it's, that it happened. Then the other thing, didn't you say that, we were talking last night that, isn't Congress, aren't they interviewing, about the 2020 election? Aren't they
Yeah.
trying to got a bunch of information
Apparently,
about
allegedly, the DOJ has mountains of information that will prove that it was rigged. And of course, anybody with, to say this, but with a mind knows it was rigged. I mean, a president usually gets around 60, 65 million votes, and Biden then ended up with never campaigned. He was in the basement, ended up with 81 million. Give me a break. So,
and there, and this is another election year, so it's kind of
yeah,
interesting at midterm. So it's interesting to see what happens. We got a segment called All in the Family. We talk about family matters, and we love doing this area. And I'll start first. A week ago, last Saturday, last Saturday, because this past Saturday it rained, but a week ago was really nice. Mike and Jill came down, and our daughter Rachel got married. And it was actually beautiful. It was perfect. Everything worked out really well. The venue was fantastic. She got married outside, and real quick, during the ceremony, it was so appropriate. It was like I had it planned. During the ceremony, the minister's speaking and they're exchanging vows or something, and an Amazon truck pulls up behind them into the driveway to deliver to this venue that we're at. And it was just so appropriate that happened. But
yeah,
it turned out really well. We had some great people. My cousin John Carey, who owns Smoking Hot Carey Brothers Barbecue, did the catering, and I think he did a great job. Our grandson Blake Dorsey was the DJ. He did a great job, and he's just a super kid. And we had a bartender from a local bar did that, and we had a friend of the family do the photos, and it was just a great time. Saw a lot of friends that came, and thankful that I think we had about 152 people there, so it turned out really well. And Vorce's parents and family were able to come up from North Carolina and Texas and Florida, and it was just a great time. And I talked about grandkids here a little bit because my two granddaughters, Rachel and Vorce's daughters, Ayla and Dacia, they were they wore green dresses, and it was just fantastic the way they looked and the way they actually what they did during the wedding is they were super kids, and it's just a fantastic time.
I just wanted to add that I'm not a big wedding guy, but this one was one that was a ton of fun. I mean, the day was absolutely perfect. I think it was in the 70s. And like you said, it was so cool. We're sitting outside, the wedding's going on, and here comes an Amazon truck up the driveway. And food was amazing. The burnt tips and the chicken and everything they had was absolutely phenomenal. The venue was perfect. It was just beautiful. You couldn't have asked her. And Penny did a
Yeah,
fantastic job with
yeah,
the flowers and everything else that she did. And everyone looked beautiful. It was a fun day. And what I found interesting too, the wedding kicked off at 4:30.
yeah.
By 8:30,
Oh,
everyone was
yeah, they're done.
done.
Which is yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the way it
And
is.
they had planned to stay and party later, but, yeah, I wanna talk Penny a little bit. She's been working on this for quite a while, and, she ordered flowers on the internet and saved a lot of money and she did them all herself. She hemmed and altered every dress, every suit, I think that, they wore. Luckily, I got a suit that she had to hem the pants a little bit, that was about it, but she did that. She ironed every tablecloth, which there were 18 of them, and they were huge. She spent 8 hours ironing on, Friday before or Thursday before the wedding, and she hadn't ironed 8 hours at 36 years we've been married, so it was pretty interesting that happened, but she did a fantastic job, and, Divorce and Rachel are married now after living together 15 years, finally made it official, so, we had a great time, and, again, thanks to everybody that came and everybody who participated, we certainly enjoyed it, and, yeah, Mike, you wanna brag about, one of your nephew, right? Is a nephew or
Great nephew.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Espen Pitts. We talked about Espen a few podcasts back, and Espen is, yeah, a unique individual. He came from a tough upbringing, but he's done so well, and he was born and lived down in Milwaukee for a while. And I don't want to get into that part of the story. I want to focus on what he's done in his life. And if you don't remember, if it's your first time listening, Aspen received a full ride to Notre Dame, and so he'll be heading down there in a couple of months. And I just wanted to read a couple of things here from his high school chapter as it comes to a close, and his graduation is coming up in a couple of weeks here. Aspen is a quiet guy. He would never say this stuff about himself, and this I'm kind of paraphrasing what his mother has written. But watching Aspen receive the Jason Schluter Memorial Scholarship, and if you don't know anything about Jason Schluter, Jason and some of his friends were heading to spring break many years ago, and a tire came off of a semi trailer and bounced across the interstate and came through their vehicle and killed Jason and one other person and injured everyone else that was in the van. And so for Espen to receive the Jason Schluter Memorial is kind of just a very meaningful moment. He's such a grounded person. I just want to focus on his academic excellence. He's graduating summa cum laude with a 4.0 GPA, 15 college credits, 10 dual credit courses and AP courses. His leadership and service, U.S. Military Academy Einstein Award. We watched that on TV last summer when he was out at West Point, and worked with the FDA Tobacco Prevention Program. He was a state wrestling qualifier and four-time academic all-state honoree, and he's received, I guess, scholarships and honors from the Boston Wrestling Club, Castle Rock Realty, the Maurice Harvey VFW Post and Linden Station Women's Auxiliary Award, the Jason Schluter Memorial that we mentioned, Evelyn and Pearl Cure, and John McFarland Scholarship. And also just found out that he has a job down at Notre Dame. He'll be traveling with the football
you told
team.
me that. What amazing. I
Not
mean,
sure what he'll be doing,
it
but
doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. I want to talk
Maybe
to
he'll
him.
be painting the helmets. Who
Yeah,
knows?
exactly. But I just want to give a shout out to Espen and all his hard work. And he is living proof that it doesn't matter where you come from. If you put your mind
Exactly.
to anything, you can accomplish anything that you want to. And Espen is going, the sky's the limit for this guy.
It's terrific to see young people do that. I mean, you hear so many bad things about young people. We were talking about that, of death. Teenagers killed almost every day in Indianapolis, which is not considered a bad crime city. But anyway, it's amazing that to see these young kids do this. And there's a lot of them that does it that we don't even talk about a lot. A full ride to Notre Dame, that's pretty impressive. He's going to a great school. I mean, I'm glad to hear he's coming to Notre Dame.
Yeah, be down that way to see.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Maybe you can get some football tickets.
Yeah. We'll try.
The reason that I'm up here in Wisconsin is Mike's best friend they went to high school with and stuff. Randy Fry's father passed away, and we wanted to pay a little tribute. Mike knows Mike, the Colonel, say more things than I could even say, but he was up in his 80s and
Early
you
90s.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hate to see anybody go, but Mike lived a great life, and you might want to say a few things about him, Mike.
Yeah. Randy's dad, Mike, passed away last week. His funeral's tomorrow. And Mike was just a fun guy. Every time I would run into him, and Mike was in the auction real estate business, mainly auction, but did some real estate for many 50 plus years, I believe. And every time I would see Mike, I would say, how's the richest man in Kendall? And he responded the same way every time. He goes, I don't know how Carl Schrader's doing. Carl Schrader was a car dealership owner, but Mike was a fun guy. He was a hard worker. Loved his grandkids, auctions all the time. Randy told me a story once during this month. I think it was 1 month when they had like 28. I mean, it was just like crazy how many auctions that they did. Randy is just going to start going through everything, but I think his mother, who passed away a number of years ago, kept newspaper clippings of every auction that they've done. They've got all the paperwork from the auctions that they've done.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
got at the farm, the house and the barn and the shed is filled with stuff that we're going to, help Randy sell. But Mike was just a unique individual. He'll be sorely missed in Kendall. And he was just one of those staples. And Jill and I always talk about when people like this pass away, even though you haven't seen them every day or don't see them every day, or maybe they weren't, real close, even though we're close with Mike, it's still a piece of your puzzle of your life that's gone.
Without question.
So tomorrow will be a tough day, but
Be a celebration of life.
celebration,
Really. Yeah.
definitely. Good man.
Very good, man. I mean, again, he did our auction when we moved. Yeah, and Randy's taking over doing the auction business. And when somebody dies in their 90s, late 80s, I used to say this. They lived a good life, so you want to celebrate it.
Yep.
But then I was 40 when I used to say that, and now I'm 75, and I'm not that far away. So you kind of look at that, but it's, when a kid dies 17 in a car wreck, it's tragic and stuff. And although this certainly is a great loss, he's had a great life, and I'm sure we'll be able to celebrate that tomorrow and pay tribute to him.
Yep.
Our last sponsor, Erica's Place in Cicero and Noblesville, 40 West Jackson Street in Cicero and 654 Logan Street in Noblesville, the Noblesville facility. The street work has been done. You can get to her restaurant now. And Penny and I had breakfast there on Saturday morning, and we had to wait to get in. It was so packed. But downtown Noblesville on Saturday with the farmers market and everything's pretty busy. They have daily specials every day. They got a black with some good stuff there, chicken noodle, things like that, meatloaf, lasagna, all types of things. Senior menu, I take advantage of the senior menu. You get a little bit of discount. They're open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 6 to 2 on Sundays. If you love great food, visit Erica's Place in Cicero and Noblesville, and they do a lot of carryout. So carryouts are available. Call in and go pick up your order. So again, that's Erica's Place in Noblesville and Cicero.
Well, Tommy, we'll hopefully have this one up tomorrow.
Well, we hope so. Yeah, and we hope to get in another routine again. I certainly enjoy doing these things, and when we didn't do it, I kind of missed doing it.
Yeah.
But like I said, we both were busy, and we certainly appreciate all of you listening. Please, again, subscribe to YouTube or Spotify. Free. Doesn't cost you a thing. All it does is pop up a notice to you when one of these pop up. And if you missed an episode, you can go to YouTube, and every episode's on there. You can pull it up. And
Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. I know I asked my wife, I said, did you hear what I said to you about a podcast? You must not listen to it regularly. And so I said, you can go back and get them all. So hopefully she's listening to them. But
and we haven't talked about our numbers lately, but I'll go back and check occasionally, and they slowly climb up. People have gone back and listened to some. So again, YouTube. And we'll throw this out on Facebook, where you can find it on YouTube, and then on Spotify at the Colonel and Mr.
So thank all of you for listening to us. And it was a pleasure being with you today, Mike, together. It's our first podcast together. So maybe we can do this more in the future somehow. Yep. So again, thanks to all of you, and we'll see you next week, hopefully. Take care.
Take care.